This video is brought to you by these fantastic sponsors, as well as Mobile Gaming News Network, mobilegamingnews.com, your one-stop shop for all your mobile gaming news, reviews, and information you can use. Head on over and sign up, and if you are inclined to write some articles, go ahead and sign up for that as well. We are always looking for more writers. But with that, let's get into the video. Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun, and a little over a week ago, I decided, hey, you know what? I can 45-second Banshee. I wonder how much stuff I'll get if I were to just do that for $100 a day. Now, when I figured that out, it was about, I don't know, I think 5 hours of just straight farming, but we made it out to 2 minutes per run, so that way, you know, I could actually do something with part of my day. And with the refills, I kind of figured it out to be about 10 hours of Banshee farming a day. Now, that was just to use 3,000 Sky Stones worth of refreshes a day on Banshee. And one of the things that I did was I didn't sell any of the gear. I wanted to just get gear, keep anything that was decent. I used all of the gear that I got to level it up. Now, I did do my daily stuff, and most of that I kept to a bare minimum. I tried not to use any of the refresh energy in that, so usually I would just take energy from my mailbox in order to get that done, which actually set me behind on the side story, so I have to use a lot of energy today in order to catch up with that. So the only thing I was really tracking was my gold, my overall Sky Stones, my bookmarks, and my mystics. Now, if I would have thought about it, I thought about this like midway through, that I should have kept track of my dust as well as my Banshee hunt material currency. It's because I was like, oh man, how much did I have when I started? Because I didn't actually really keep track of that. Now, one of the things was I was going to do this every single day, but then I was like, man, there's not a lot to update really every single day. So I decided to kind of go through every single day and where I was at the beginning and how much I have made out of this. So like I said, I didn't sell any of the gear. All of the gear that I got from farming, I just put into other gear to level up any pieces that I got that were halfway decent. And then if they end up being not decent, then I just dumped them. So I started out with 51,110,431 gold. Now, as you can see up here at the top, I ended at 92,050,185. So I made a little under 41 million gold, even with selling all of the items, or not without selling all of the items. So that one is pretty big here. Now, when it comes to currencies here, let me go over here to currencies. So when I first started, I had 2,742 mystics. Now, I did get one thing of mystics in the shop throughout the course of it, and this also takes into account any daily stuff, any like login things like that. This is included in that. So I ended up at the end of it, I ended up with 3,682 mystics. That's a gain of 940 mystics. So even including the one that I got in the shop. Now, I started out with 44 bookmarks, ended up at 231. So this is actually a gain of 187 bookmarks. Now, I do believe throughout the course of that, I pulled three of them out of the shop. So that was actually pretty decent. But overall, I was really surprised on just how many bookmarks I got. Now, just for clarity's sake here, when I did have to buy Sky Stones, I bought the monthly bookmark pack and then immediately rolled the bookmarks into Covenant. That way they were not in my overall pile of bookmarks. I wanted to make sure that those weren't in there. Now, I did end with 1,236 sky shards left. Now, I made sure that every day was 3,000 sky shards. So even when I got close to the end of it, I would buy 3,000 shards, and those were the refills that I did. I didn't use any leaves. I didn't use any mailbox energy outside of the energy that I used for the daily spirit altar and the adventures, and that was just refunded via that energy. So as you can see, I've got a lot of energy up there in my mailbox ready for me to do other things. Now, I didn't really keep track at the beginning of the dust that I had, but I ended up with 174. Now, at the very beginning, I'm pretty sure I had like almost no dust, just because I was using it for Elbrus ritual swords. And for the most part, I would sell most of the artifacts that I got while I was, you know, rolling the covenants and stuff like that. And I did end up buying another Elbrus ritual sword, but overall, I do remember while I was farming getting a fair amount of dust regularly, at which point I was kind of like, oh god, I wish this was just another piece of gear, but you know how that goes. Now, when it comes to crafting materials, I believe that I had about maybe 5,000 to 6,000 Banshee cores, hellish essences. When I started, I have a little over 36,000 right now, and there's no way that I am going to be able to craft all of these for 92 million gold. This is going to be another video called "Watch Me Blow 92 million gold" on stuff that's probably not all that amazing. Although I do have a fair amount of the alchemist steeple gems here, so we'll see what we get out of that. So overall, quite a bit of materials. I mean, 36,000 crafting materials is quite a bit of crafting. As you can see, I don't craft very often, hence why I have so many materials in just about everything up here. I like to keep my sadness to 1 day a month. So overall, not too bad. Even with upgrading, I got quite a few plus 15 pieces of gear. There's quite a few pieces of just actually interesting, really cool gear that I did end up getting, but I ended up with 41 million extra gold over top of that. Now, like I said, I didn't go out on my way to sell anything. Everything went into other gear. So let's take a look at what we ended up getting in that. Oh, also, let me see if it shows it in here. Currency stigma. I wanted to show how much. So I have 167,000 stigma now. So I'm pretty sure when I first started, I had something in the range of like 90 or 100k. I also went on I bought a bunch of penguins one night just to level up some dogs so that I could break some dogs and get them out of my inventory. So I have enough right here to just slam my face into penguins and then just sell all of them for money and transmute them for silver transmute stones, which I actually might do at one point this week. So let's get to the thing that a lot of people are here for, and that is the equipment. What equipment did I get? Now, I did clear everything out for the most part this morning of everything that was good. You're gonna see up here I got two raid pieces this week in hell mode, which I'll show you those because the one ring is actually pretty interesting. But let's see. So when I started this right here, this level 85 piece, actually here, let me show my capture my cursor. That's gonna blink for a second. You're gonna see it. There we go. Okay, so you can see it. So this level 85 run piece was my benchmark. Was it my benchmark? No, it was these boots, because that Ren piece, the rage piece, I got from a world boss, which actually was kind of interesting. So these speed boots right here were my benchmark on when I last ran anything other than Banshee when I first started this. So that was kind of how, when I sorted this by recent, I was like, okay, everything after these speed boots is stuff that I got during this testing, we'll call it. So I want to go over, like, pretty much everything that I saved was either kind of interesting to me, or I was going to use it on something, or it was just absolutely amazing. So we're going to start off here with this piece. This rolled a lot of critical hit damage, but it also rolled a lot of effect resist and a mediocre amount of hit chance. Now, I think that I did get one minimum roll into hit chance. I think it spread 3 across all of these. I don't know if I'm going to take this to plus 15 or not, but we'll see what it rolls on plus 12. Typically with the purple stuff, I'll roll it to plus 9. If it's good enough, I'll roll it to plus 12. And depending on what the 4th stat is, that determines on whether I keep it or whether I turn it into food for something else. So the next one here, this one's actually pretty decent. It's got a decent spread. I do need a couple of crit hit chance neck pieces, so I wanted to keep this one a decent amount of speed there. It was started at 4 and then got plus 3 into it, and then it went into health effect resist, and that was about it on that one. So I mean, it's not the best neck in the world, but I decided to keep it just because I am lacking on crit hit chance lifesteal necks. So there is that. This one I need to level up again. It's only at plus 8. Both went into effect resist and flat health. You might be like, why are you keeping this? This isn't that great. Well, it's a resist set, so of course, what do I want on people who are going to be running a resist set? I want them to be a little extra thick. So when my thought process on when I got effect resist pieces was, does it have health? Does it have a attack substat, or, you know, a DPS substat? And does it have effect resist on it? So if I can get effect resist and an effect resist set, well, that's doubling up what it was that I was looking for. So this piece could end up good. I need to roll some more into it. And one of the big problems was I am really just not lucky when it comes to getting extra weapon drops. I was always like at the bare minimum of what weapons that I had, so there was that. So this one was lifesteal crit destruction, or crit hit damage, and it rolled pretty okay. It's got a defensive substat. I wanted it to roll more into attack or crit hit chance, but I also have the flat attack on there as well, so I'm doubling up on the attack. This isn't the best, but it's not bad. It's usable on certain people, so I definitely decided to keep that one while I was going. So this next ring is an interesting one, and honestly, this might become fodder. Oh no, it's unlocked, so this is 100% fodder. I was not happy with really how this turned out. Yeah, it's got 7 speed on it, but really 7 speed's not that amazing, especially when it comes to lifesteal. I got the minimum attack roll here. Crit hit damage is 15%, but really it's not that great, and I've got 13% effectiveness on here, but it's also a defensive main stat. I was thinking maybe, you know, sometimes on lifesteal people I do need a little bit of extra defense, because a lot of them are not the most defensive people in the world, so having that extra little bit of heft would have been great, especially if this would have rolled very well on the DPS substats. You could overshadow the fact that you don't have an attack main stat or something along those lines, but this one is not, and it's going to go bye-bye. This next one rolled, there's no way I was not going to keep this. So far though, the 3 rolls have been pretty bad, but a lot of them went into crit hit chance, so we're gonna see what 12 rolls, but there were a lot of minimum rolls on this, and I was a little disappointed in this piece. This thing had a lot of potential right there. I mean, when you look at a destruction set, those are the 3 stats that you want to see on there, and they just did not do it for me. Little on the sad side. Next one up is a counterattack piece, and this one actually rolled really pretty decent. 17 crit hit damage, 14% crit hit chance. That's actually pretty huge. I think everything on this went into either crit hit damage or crit hit chance. Yeah, it did, absolutely. And then the plus 7% effectiveness, which, I mean, you know, it isn't bad all the time. So next up is the 12 speed hat here. Most of it went into speed and then went into effect resist, but it's 12 speed, and that's actually pretty decent. I could use that on somebody that I need to be a little on the quick side. It's not perfect when it comes to speed, but it's not bad, and I definitely need some speed pieces for sure. So this one I haven't leveled up yet, but it's 3 speed, 5 crit hit chance, 5 crit hit damage. Now, the 5 hit crit damage and the 3 speed are not maxed by any way, shape, or form, but the crit hit chance is pretty high, and so this could potentially roll really well, but we'll have to see when I have some extra stuff here. This one turned out pretty okay. I was hoping that it would go some into speed here, but it went into crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and effect resist. Actually, I think this was 3 speed, and the last one was like it went into one into speed. So not the best stats in the world, but if you're looking for crit destruction and I'm just trying to build somebody for just massive damage, this isn't the worst piece that we could run into for a chess piece. So next up, this one's going to be a lifesteal right here. Lifesteal main hand, 8 speed, 12 attack, 363 on the health, and then 10% crit chance. Now, I did get a lot of pieces that had quite a bit of crit hit chance on them, which is pretty decent. This one, not the best, not the worst. So we did get a lot. I got a lot of resist set stuff. 7 speed, 10 crit hit chance, 10 attack, and then 6% health. This one did have quite a few min rolls in it, and but you know what, it's usable for the moment. Now, some people are like, hey Shogun, why do you have speed main stat counterattack boots? Isn't that counterintuitive? Don't you want them to be like real slow? And that's not true. I mean, look at Falconeer Quarry, right? You want Falconeer Quarry to be real fast. You also want to get counterattacks. You also want to have Elbrus Ritual Sword for that healing and cycling. Not everybody's an A Ravi where you need to build them super slow, super tanky, super high damage. Sometimes you can get away with a bit more speed, and you want your characters to go every so often. This one's got a little bit of heft in it, but it also has 14% attack and 14% crit hit damage, as well as the flat health plus the health percent. So this kind of makes up for it. You got a really good spread of defense and attack DPS substats on this. The next one is actually, I kept this one because almost everything rolled into effect resist on this. So this is a really good defensive one because you've got 8% health on this, you've got 29% effect resist, you got 10% defense, so you kind of make up for not having a defensive main stat on here like health or something like that in terms of the spread of defensive substats you have on there. So this ring is mediocre, but I don't have a lot of attack rings, and we've got attack main stat, attack flat stat, but it's also got effect resistance, it's also got 18% defense on it, so you get a nice amount of defensive substats, because I mean, a lot of people I think overlook running a little bit of extra defense on some of your more squishy characters. You know, an ML can use a little bit of defense sometimes. So we got effect resist speed boots here, and this has got 20% critical hit damage. That's actually pretty pog right there. 38% or 38 flat attack. Now, a lot of people don't like the flat attack. I actually think that that's fine because, you know, if beggars can't be choosers on some of this gear. So you have a really, really good amount of attack DPS substats on this. 20% critical hit damage is pretty huge, plus 8% crit chance. Crit chance is usually the one that's like the hardest one to flesh out when it comes to that, because you got to hit, you know, that I'm always hitting a crit. So we've got a counter attack destruction neck here, crit hit damage. 11 speed is really nice. The flat attack on this and the effect resist and the defense are, you know, secondary. I wanted to get the speed on this, so this again could be a Falconeer Quarry neck if we build her with some extra crit damage or crit attack, crit hit chance. It is at plus 12, so I don't know what the last one will roll into. We'll see when we get there. So counterattack axe, this one again was just had some really nice substats on here. We're at plus 9. It's already at 14% health, 13% crit hit damage, and 3% critical hit chance. If we get, let's say, like an attack percent on the next one, or even attack flat, and then the last one goes into any of those stats, then we have a really nice tanky bruiser counterattack main hand right here. Now this one is actually pretty interesting. I was kind of hoping that this would roll into speed, maybe crit hit damage, but it rolled into a lot of defense. And like I said earlier, you know, a lot of people underestimate just how much extra defense can do, and I think that this is an okay-ish piece. We got a lot of defense on this. We didn't get any health, but you know, and the 4 speed is just 4 speed on it, but it did have like a decent amount of stats on here, and I'm overall okay with how it turned out. Next up is going to be this one, and these stats are actually pretty good. At plus 9, this already has 19% health and 12% crit hit damage with 8% attack. So I mean, even right now, those two alone are pretty decent stats on this. So this one's going to be a destruction set attack main stat. I don't have too many of those, and I was a little leery with the flat attack, but I do have percent attack and flat attack in this. It's got 8 speed, 11% critical hit damage, and it also rolled flat health on here, so having that extra, you know, chunk is not a bad thing if you're going to be running this on, let's say, a destruction crit or destruction counter tanky bruiser. Having a little bit of extra heft and a little extra speed is not a bad thing. Now this one's pretty good. I like the spread on this. It did roll 8% natural health on here, but we got 15% attack, 19% effect resist, and 12% critical hit damage. Overall, those substats are pretty solid. The next piece here is going to be a destruction set, and this one's going to be more for a tanky bruiser here. I do still have 2 more level ups on this, but we're already at 18% health, 6% critical hit chance, and 5% on the attack. So everything so far has rolled into health and 1 into critical hit chance on that one. This next piece, 21% defense, 370 health with some crit chance and some effect resist for a life steal HP main stat. This will be more for like somebody that I want to have like some extra sustain on top of a little bit of extra heft. You can swap this in, and this mostly takes up, you know, the main overall defensive piece of gear that you have on that lifesteal character. It makes it so that you can really run other things on your other slots. So yeah. This one rolled pretty okay in the critical hit damage and critical hit chance. The effectiveness roll was a little on the meh side. This one is kind of up in the air on whether or not I keep this. This one I haven't leveled up yet because it is lifesteal critical hit chance main stat, but it's flat health, flat attack, 7% defense, 7% health. I've kept it. I don't know if I'm gonna ever roll this in the future. This one, decent substats, health, crit hit chance, and effect resist on a counterattack piece. I kept this one, effect resist on an effect resist main, but it's got 8% defense, 4% critical hit chance. So realistically, if we get a lot of defense on this, this could be the defensive piece that you put, the centerpiece, and then everything else you can be a little bit more flexible with your substats in. So again, another counterattack crit chance. This one ended up rolling both into critical hit damage, and at +6, I'm already at 18% critical hit damage on a critical hit chance main neck. Now, if this thing just keeps rolling critical hit damage, this is going to be a ridiculous neck piece. I'm super hyped to see what that ends up with. This one right here is not bad. We got 19% crit, or 19% attack and 13% critical hit chance with some effectiveness and effect resist. Now this rolled pretty okay. I really kind of wish that the effectiveness was something else, but you know what, I'll take this. That's some pretty decent overall attack stats right there, and 13% critical hit chance again is huge. So the next one, this is a resist piece, and this resist piece rolled all right. I don't know if I'm going to keep going. I might take this to 15 just to see what the last one is, but 16% critical hit damage, 10% chance, and then 15% effectiveness. I could run this on somebody like a Purges who does need that effectiveness as well as that extra damage, and the resist. We'll see who that goes with. There are some people that can run this for sure, like a Purges, a general Purges, something along those lines. So next one up is going to be a lifesteal main stat health. And the reason why I kept this and the reason why I kind of like this is because we had the flat attack and we have the attack percent. We've also got crit hit damage, and then we rolled the crit hit chance on plus 12 here. So this has your whole spread of DPS substats here, and it actually rolled pretty okay on this. 16% attack, 11% crit hit damage, 107 flat attack, and then 3% hit chance. Now the 3% hit chance, is it great? No, not really. It was a pretty low-ish roll on that one, but overall I feel like we got a good amount of attack and a good amount of crit hit damage out of this while maintaining a health main stat on here. So I think the overall spread of DPS substats makes up for the lack of DPS main stat on this. Now this one right here, a little disappointed in it, but at the same time, 706 flat health with 10% health and then 10% crit damage. This is a bit more on the heftier side versus the damage. I was hoping that we would get either some speed or we would get some more crit hit damage out of this, but the gods saw fit to go with the health on that one. This one, we're at plus 12. It didn't roll very good. We've got 18% crit hit damage on here, but we rolled it was 4 speed. We got a plus 2 speed roll on this and a 4% health. So overall, this did not roll very good at all. I'm going to skip over the pieces that I got from Auto Tower and out of the shop, which I did finally just break down and buy these boots. So this one's actually really good. Counter attack piece here. We have 12% health, 20% attack, 12% critical hit damage, and then on the plus 12 we rolled 7% effectiveness. Can't really be too mad about this on any sort of tanky bruiser that's going to require counterattack. That's a good 12% health is pretty decent, and then the 20% attack, 12% critical hit damage is huge. That is quite a bit of both of those stats. Now this one you're going to be like, hey, why did you keep this? This is an attack flat main stat. Well, because they had an attack percent substat, but look at this effect resist. Effect resist set 31% effect resist on the substat and 11% on the attack, 8% on the health, and crit damage was 6%. So you have quite a bit of effect resist here and a bunch of DPS substats as well. So this actually overall is a ring. It was an interesting ring for sure, and I got like 2 like just max effect resist the first 2, and I'm like, you know what, let's just see what this thing ends up with. I was actually kind of hoping that for the memes this would roll nothing but effect resist and I'd have like a 60% effect resist, you know, substat ring. I thought that would be pretty hilarious. So you'll notice I did keep quite a bit of necks that have crit hit chance on them because I was lacking on those. So another lifesteal crit hit chance substat. The effect resist, we got that, but it's got a lot of defensive on here with 18% attack, so that's pretty nice too. 16% in the health, 12% in the defense, 18% in the attack on a lifesteal set. So overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this. 3 defensive substats with a hefty attack stat, and the 55% critical hit chance will make it a lot easier for me to shuffle gear around on other places. So this one is okay. It's resist set. We got 18% attack on it, health main stat. 3 speed didn't really do much with. Crit hit damage is plus 9%, which didn't really do much. I think we rolled a 5% on defense when we got this, and then it rolled another into defense. So overall, this is a pretty mediocre piece, but I will keep it. I'll probably use it on somebody. I'm trying to flesh out some decent resist pieces because I do like having that extra resist. I'm going to build a lot of my characters on the more heavy resist side for RTA because I feel like a lot of people are not really putting enough effectiveness on their characters, especially their DPSers that require you know, dropping some stuff. So we'll see how that ends up working out. Next one, I did like these. I do like this at +7. We're already at 16% attack and 14% effect resist. Yeah, we got 3% critical hit chance on here, but let me see if I have what we can get the +9 to here. So let's just feed them this. We'll go here and then 2. So let's see what we get on this. I'm hoping it's attack. No, we're going to have 20% effect resist on this, though. At +9, 20% effect resist, 16% attack is pretty huge stats right there. Just right out of the gate. Where were we on that? What were you? What piece was that? That was right here. So we only got like a couple pieces left here to go through. Next up is going to be this piece right here, and these were decent stats. 11% damage, 13% crit hit chance. I'm pretty sure all 2 of them went into crit hit chance and 1 of them went into crit hit damage. So I liked the spread on stats on that one. Destruction set, crit hit chance main, 29% attack on this. We did get the 8% and then flat health on this, so that's not bad. Overall, this is a pretty solid neck. You've got your crit hit chance, you've got your destruction set, so you'll get that extra critical hit damage, and 29% attack. That is real huge right there. So counter set, attack main stat, 16% health, 14% critical hit damage, flat attack, and 5% critical hit chance. Now the problem is, I think that one of these was critical hit chance. I don't think we had very high at the beginning, and it didn't go very high after that as well. So overall, not bad. The 16% health is nice. The 14% damage, 5% crit hit chance, and flat attack are good with the extra attack percent up there. So overall, that ended up pretty nice. This ring I wanted to show you because it is extra thick. It was flat HP main stat, but it had an HP substat. And so one thing I like is if you get both of those, I level it up. If it's flat HP main stat, I put it in and see what we can get the health substat to. As you can see here, we got 29% substat health, and that is crazy. We got a ton of health main stat, ton of health substat, and I was like, oh man, watch critical hit chance and attack are going to roll really poorly. 11% critical hit chance with 12% attack on this. This thing is overall a really boss ass ring. Who am I going to use this on? I have no idea. Probably it might actually throw this on a fighter Maya, honestly. Because right now my fighter Maya, she's got good defense. She's got really good defense. She needs a little bit of extra hit points, and I think that this will absolutely do it. Plus, that 11% crit hit chance and attack will be really solid for her on that one. So I got this out of Hell Raid last week. So this next piece is going to be pretty good. Attack piece. This is actually going to probably go for Gunther. I know crit hit chance, but I wish it was destruction or crit hit damage. But you know what? It is what it is. You can't get attack on here. So this will be where I'm going to get a lot of my Gunther heft from. At plus 12, you've already got 21% health and 374 flat health. This is going to be real big. I'm hoping that last one goes into either just health percent or it goes into 4 into speed. That would be pretty nice right there. So this one at plus 9, we got 7 speed, 9% defense, and 12% health. This one, I think if it doesn't roll an attack stat for the 12 and it's a really high roll, I'm gonna probably fodder this because it's mediocre. This one I'm keeping because these stats are pretty good. 4 base speed. Most of the time I keep anything that's 4 base speed with 2 decent stats. 8% defense, 5% health. So I'm hoping that this just rolls all into speed as much as we can. So overall, there you go. We did get quite a bit of decent gear. Like I said, we started way down here at these boots, and this is how much stuff I've kept. That is quite a decent amount of things right here. We did get quite a bit of red out of this, but for the most part it was a lot of purple. And we also still don't know what all we will get from the crafting session. So we do have 36,000 materials, and we also have almost 92 million gold here. So I will be doing that in a separate video, probably do it in my live stream tonight. But overall, that is what we ended up getting for $700 worth of refills. Do I think that I'm going to continue to do that? Absolutely not. It was something that I just wanted to see what we could do. I am going to start farming some other things. I need to go hit Golem. I need to go hit A11. I really do need to get back into Wyvern as well. I've kind of neglected that, so a lot of my speed pieces are pretty mediocre, but overall I have a bunch of other things that are really good. I actually really want to hit Golem 11 because I think that I do need some health set. I do need some defensive sets for Fighter Maya once she gets her change. I do need some attack sets for Gunther because of memes. And A11, I need some rage sets, and I do need some more immunity sets because I just, yeah, you know what, we're gonna just make up for immunity with like 300% effect resist. But there you go, guys. That is a little bit of what we've got going on in here. So let me know what you guys think. Do I think that things could be fixed? Yeah, for $700 worth of refills in here, I do think that we should have gotten a lot of other stuff. But can I complain too much about the gear that we did get? There were some pieces that were really, really amazing and are going to really help out my account excessively. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and maybe in the future we'll do this in another hunt and see just what we get out of that one. But anyways, guys, if you did like this, if you found this interesting, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, and make sure you tick on all updates, because I think there's like 7 different bell notifications now. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.